Yo, what's good, my people? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to give you another WWE Smackdown review. So, before I go into Smackdown, there's two things I want to talk. There's a couple things I want to talk about. Matter of fact, so first, AJ Lee and Natalia had a match on main event, and it was a very, very good Divas match. Probably the best one that these two girls had. They had one at TLC last year, but I think this one was even better, and they gave them some good amount of time. AJ ends up retaining her belt, and a pretty good Divas match, and kind of leading on from the small bit of story that they gave them going off of Raw and the main event before. Um, Next, I want to talk about something that happened on NXT, and it's basically this dude Adam Rose, who was formerly known as Leo Kruger on NXT. Just to say that it's a whole character change for this guy, and if you're interested in wrestling and you want to watch something that's just awesome, go to NXT on the network or wherever you Hulu, wherever you can find it. Watch this dude's entrance and just watch the backstage segment they have with him and just how great it is and how fun everything is with it. Um, After that, Carlos Colon was introduced on this week's SmackDown into the WWE Hall of Fame. So he's basically Carlito's dad and I think Primo's dad or uncle or something like that. So yeah, congratulations to him. A big guy out in what do you call it? Cuban wrestling and stuff like that. So the stop saying the SmackDown kicks off with Triple H, who comes out to the ring and he basically just buries the whole crowd and stuff like that. He starts talking about everything that went on with Daniel Bryan, says he'll be dealing with Daniel Bryan on Raw, and that he's basically not going to let Daniel Bryan get through all of the things that Daniel Bryan thinks he's going to get through, and that he tried to be cool with Daniel Bryan, tried to be nice, tried not to do all the crazy things against him, but he's now just going to bury him, and he actually used the word bury. I'm like, so he's kind of like trolling the people, the internet crowd with that word and shit. But as far as the promo goes, I thought it was okay. Just general Triple H type stuff, and just him acting crazy, heelish right here, and just being pissed off. He brings out Damian Sandow and just start, ragging on Damian Sandow, saying, yeah, you didn't do what I told you to do. You didn't fight your match. Now you need to fight another match, but before that, I want you to apologize and all that stuff. And Damian Sandow is up saying he apologized, saying he's sorry and stuff. And Triple H tells him, you know what, we're gonna put you in a match, and Vicky scheduled you a match and stuff like that. So yeah, so here's Damian Sandow and Triple H berating him. So he and Damian Sandow gets the first match of the night, which is versus Seth Rollins, and it's damn near basically a squash match. Seth Rollins beats the shot of Damian Sandow for damn near the whole match, and ends up hitting him with the blackout and going for the win. So yeah, you have that. And afterwards, you get Dean Ambrose, who comes back into the ring, looks at the rest of the Shield, and is like, let's fuck this motherfucker up, basically. And they basically do what they're used to doing and, do their thing. And triple power bomb him and old school Shield stuff right there. Well, not old school Shield, but, old school Shield stuff right there. And they're still together, and interesting to see what they're going to do with those guys next. So, after that, you get Fandango versus Big E Langston. And a pretty quick match, not too much to it. The match is mostly survived with Big E beating up down on Fandango. Ends up, just overpowering him and stuff like that, and just gets his big ending and gets the win. Like I said, a pretty quick match. It was an okay match. These guys had better matches. They had a really good match on a Christmas Raw, I think it was. But just a normal match, and it was okay for what it was. And Big E picks up the win. Next, you get Antonio Cesaro and Jack Swagger, the Real Americans, versus the Brotherhood, Goldust and Cody Rhodes. So, another just okay match that was pretty good. You had the Real Americans who took lead in the match most of the time. I thought they did a swell job of beating down on Cody Rhodes here, and just over showing their dominance and stuff like that. But also, I really like the fact that they still played up on the whole them two can't get along thing, and they're just arguing with each other and not really being able to help each other out. And it ends up getting Cody Rhodes the win off of there, and I think he ends up going for a roll up. So yeah, the Rhodes brothers end up winning the match, and not looking good for Real Americans right now. But the Real Americans after the match end up banding together and start beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes and Goldust, and that's when you get the Usos who run out and basically just, I think they kind of push they kind of push and get ready to try to go down for a beatdown on to the Real Americans, but the Real Americans roll out the ring, and you get the Usos and the Rose brothers standing in the ring and just looking back at them. So it kind of makes me interested in seeing, okay, does this mean that they're pushing more of a what do you call it? More of a triple threat tag team thing right here, or is it just more stuff going on for the Raws ahead? So it's kind of making me interested in seeing what is new and what's next for the whole tag team division of right now, because these are kind of like the final of the big tag teams that's in there. Even though the Shield and the Wyatts are still there, those other groups are in main event pictures, are in other few pictures right now. So next you get the Wyatt family, which Bray Wyatt is fighting, versus Kofi Kingston. And another just basically quick match. You had a little bit of offense from Kofi Kingston here and there, but Bray Wyatt basically dominated the match. And I liked the match because Bray Wyatt was doing a lot of character stuff here, and both of these guys were looking each other down, and they had an okay match here. But it wasn't a very good match, or it wasn't even like okay, that was a pretty good match. It was just an okay, pretty average match, and these guys just went out there and did what they needed to do. Bray Wyatt ends up picking up the win off of the Sister Abigail, and like I said, an okay match here. So next you get a Divas match, which is AJ Lee on commentary, and it's Tamina versus, what's the girl's name, Nikki Bella, and another just okay Divas match. I thought this was a pretty fun Divas match going towards the middle to the end. It started off kind of slow, but once Tamina and Nikki got going, it started getting a little bit better. You get AJ who comes on the outside after Nikki gets kicked to the face, and she starts getting on the ropes and stuff like that and yelling at Brie Bella. Brie Bella ends up coming off the ropes and diving onto AJ Lee with a clothesline. Then Tamina tries to go and save AJ Lee and throws Brie Bella into the barricade, comes back in the ring, and ends up getting the shock treatment from Nikki Bella, and Nikki ends up coming out with the win here. So I'm interested to see if Nikki is going to be the next one to try to go after AJ Lee's title, and whether or not they're actually setting this up for the WrestleMania. So that'll be interesting to see if that's actually what they're going to do, or if they're going to try to figure out if they can keep going along with, just putting her against these Total Divas for now, and just seeing whatever the fuck they're going to do for next. So after that you get, let me make sure I'm not missing anything here. Nope. After that you get Dolph Ziggler versus Alberto Del Rio, and another just pretty okay match here. Dolph Ziggler, well, not matter of fact, let me change what I just said. I'm tripping. I actually thought this match was pretty chill. I thought that both of these guys came out and worked. They did a pretty quick match. It went a little bit longer than a few other kind of matches, but it was a pretty quick match for these two guys. It was a very physical match, and the crowd started getting more and more into it the longer the match went on. You get Dolph Ziggler, who's coming and getting a lot of power into it, and is Alberto Del Rio as well, and they're both even throughout the match. I remember Dolph Ziggler hitting a famouser, like a very high famouser onto Alberto Del Rio, and Alberto Del Rio I think landed awkwardly off that famouser, and the match ends with Ziggler hitting his zigzag on Alberto Del Rio, ends up picking up the win, which was kind of surprising to me because Ziggler hasn't caught a lot of wins lately. But like I said, I thought it was a pretty good match, and kind of surprised me in a way seeing only Ziggler pick up the win, but the match be kind of good and kind of bring up the show towards the end. And Dolph Ziggler cut a promo talking about how he's going to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and basically telling everybody that he's in it to win it. So next you get the Kane match versus Big Show, but before the match a few segments earlier, you had Kane who's backstage with the Shield, and he's basically telling the Shield that, uh, what you're doing out there is okay and everything, but let me see what he was basically telling him. I don't want to get this stuff wrong. Give me a second. Okay, so he's basically telling them that, everything that you're doing okay, but you need to start following directions and you need to start doing what we tell you to do. And he tells him basically wants the Shield to follow him to his match against the Big Show. And one point of the segment, he was telling the Shield like, "Oh, you won your matches, and Dean Ambrose, good job, you won your match, but I'm gonna show you how to do it. Follow me to the ring." So once they get out to the ring, the Shield isn't with Kane, and they come out during the middle of the match. But you get another, just pretty okay match between Big Show and Kane. Just a bunch of power big man moves like the slaps and the sidewalk slams and stuff like that. Towards the end of the match, you get Kane who's getting beat down by the Big Show, and and after he getting a little bit of comeback, starts looking at the Shield and telling them, "Hey, you guys need to go and help this out, and you need to go and beat down on Big Show." The Shield kind of just stand there. Kane starts yelling at them, and Kane and the Shield just say, "Fuck it, handle it on your own." Big Show ends up chokeslamming Kane. Big Show gets the win. So Kane, the Shield ends up getting ready to walk away, but Kane ends up pulling Seth Rollins into the ring, and before Kane can end up chokeslamming Seth Rollins, he gets hit by a spear from Roman Reigns, and this wicked spear out of nowhere, and it was a really, really good spear. It just shocked the Shield, like, oh shit, he just got hit with that crazy ass spear. So yeah, a very, very wicked spear, and the Shield start beating down on Kane and stand over him and project a win. So you got the Shield still together here, and it's kind of interesting to see, okay, where are they going to go forward from this? And is this meaning the Shield is fully back together, or are they, only having the calm before the storm? So as far as this SmackDown goes, I thought it was a pretty chill SmackDown. It wasn't a lot of great things that happened here. A few things advanced the storylines here, but not too much. And I feel that a couple of things could have been done a little bit better, but as far as it goes, the average SmackDown, especially coming off of a really good Raw, I think they more along the lines just wanted to give you an okay show just to lead you on to next week's Raw, and it set up a few things for the next week Raw and stuff like that. So as far as my rating goes, I would probably give it a C plus. It was a little bit above average SmackDown. So yeah, thank you for watching. You can find all my contacts down below, and keep watch wrestling. Peace.